Op 4 neutralized. Mission successful.
Hello everyone, and welcome to an Operator How-To. This will be first in a series of guides that will hopefully cover every operator in the game Rainbow Six Siege. And today, we're going to be taking a look at our local K-pop idol, Grace Nam, aka Dokkaebi. Dokkaebi is a 2-speed, 2-armor operator that, well, at least in my opinion, fills a more supportive role in the team. Don't let the glasses fool you though. Her weapons can pack a real punch when you need them to, and manipulation and misdirection is, really one of her fortes, especially since you can read it in her bio that she is really good at it. Oh, and she hacked herself into Rainbow, though, to be fair. Since she is that good, she pretty much deserves to be there. Anyway, weapons. Grace has access to 2 primary weapons, one being a DMR and the other being a shotgun. Her DMR is called the MK14 or the Mark 14. It does 60 points of damage, has a 20-round magazine, has a little bit of recoil, and is arguably the best DMR/semi-auto in the game. Personally, I use an ACOG, vertical grip, and a muzzle brake on it, but lately I've been enjoying using a suppressor on it as well. So that works. Though, keep in mind, you do deal a lower amount of damage when you equip the suppressor. You can also equip the standard close optics, reflex, dot sight, holographic on it, if you're into those close quarter combats. But, I prefer the ACOG. As well as an angle grip, compensator, or flash hider, so pretty much just pick your poison at this point. Though, as I've said, I do prefer using the ACOG with the vertical grip and the muzzle brake because it's a semi-auto and that's the most useful thing. And medium and long range engagement is really where a DMR shines. Anyway, so, moving on to her second primary weapon, which is the BOSG 12.2 shotgun, or as my favorite YouTuber calls it, the Boss Baby. It's an over-under twin-barrel breech-loading shotgun that fires slug rounds, and it does 125 points of damage per shot. Now that sounds great, one hit kills, but it isn't. It's not. For one, it has a stupid amount of recoil. You can't spam fire the thing without having to be in literal tickling distance of the enemy, so at that point, might as well just knife them. And you can't put an ACOG on it, so you can snipe people, but that's pretty much probably why they don't put the ACOG on that thing, unless you want a second Glaz, Also, you have 2 shots, so, make them count. Or else you're fucked. Though it does work. It does work, and it's very satisfying when you get someone with the meme cannon, but most of the time you won't. Unless you are literally a pro player or an aimbot. Because headshots or body shots are the way to go, and at some point, that 125 damage will drop off, and you won't, one-shot people at a distance. So you really have to be very close, and you have to be very good at your aim. And if you really want to use it, well, I suggest an angle grip, a hollow sight, and a laser, because you really can't control the recoil. Even if you can put a vertical grip on it, it's not gonna work. It kicks too high up. You can't. Anyway, moving on. Goblin has an access to a machine pistol and an SMG. The C75 and the SMG-12. The SMG-12 used to be a better choice until they introduced a new recoil system in Grim Sky. Oh well. It does a good 27 points of damage. Really doesn't matter since it has a 1270 RPM for its rate of fire. So, just unload into the enemy and they'll die basically. The recoil used to be a lot easier to control, but with the nerfs to the SMG recoil, it kicks a hell of a lot more now than it did in the past, which, is a welcome nerf. especially since it's secondary, and it's supposed to be a secondary. So now, it's literally just spray and pray, and you have to be in the face of the enemy. It's still good, but you have to be really close at this point to be able to use it effectively. I run it with a vertical grip, a hollow sight, and a laser pointer. Oh, and it's actually integrally suppressed, I think. They keep changing it, but the last I heard, they turned it suppressed again. Well, up to you to decide. You can just test it in game, I guess. Her other option, and probably the better choice now, is the C75 Machine Pistol. A rotary 2D point and shooty that does a 35 points of damage a shot, but has a lower fire rate of 1000 RPM. It has pretty much no recoil, or at least it has less recoil than the SMG-12 now, at least. But that's about it. It has horrible iron sights, and the only thing you can put on this thing is a suppressor, and you really don't want to do that. Trust me, it's awful. Actually, just don't put suppressors on any gun unless you really want to, because they're more of a hindrance than helpful. And to back that up, let me just, throw you over to one of my other favorite Rainbow Six YouTubers that I watch. Rogue9 and his video about suppressors and just how bad they are. Dokkaebi has access to two types of grenades. Smoke grenades and stun grenades. I personally use smokes a lot more than stuns, but drop me in a match of secure area and hostage, I do take the stuns more often. Mostly because they're more useful in those kinds of situations than bomb. Because in bomb, the smokes are just too good to pass up for that plant, man. For that sweet, sweet plant. Anyway, it's up to you. Her unique ability, or /gadget, is being able to annoy the enemy by literally just calling their phones. It's called the Logic Bomb. It's a global button press ability, and you get two of these. When it's activated, it sends out a call to all defenders and either pulls them out of the camera or stops them entirely from accessing the cameras in the first place. And while the phone is ringing, it actually can be heard by other people, even enemy players, through walls or in hallways or whatever, wherever you are, within a certain distance. So you can really use this to either hunt down roamers or know just generally where an enemy is. It's very useful. Oh, and IQ can also detect the cell phones while they're ringing, so that's a plus too. Generally, I use her to call to learn if there are people near me or not, or to help my teammates do the same. Very effective, again, as I've said, in hunting down anyone that's roaming. Especially if you pair it with Jackal and Lion. Though Lions have been nerfed into the ground, that combo still aids as hell. So, don't forget about that stupid strat. There's also a second part to her ability. After taking down any defender, they will drop a phone which Dokkaebi can hack. What this does is give the attackers access to defender cameras, and that includes bulletproof cams, black eyes, and even Maestro's turrets. But at the very least, they can't move Maestro's turrets or shoot from them. So, there. The only person that doesn't actually get affected by her calls is Echo, which is pretty much explained in the lore, where they work together and he learned how to counter her logic bombs, etc., etc., and how he has an isolated connection between his wristband and the yokai drones, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. So, you can also counter her calls. Just stand next to a jammer when she calls you, even though you don't know when she will. But if you're lucky enough and you're inside the jammer, it won't go off, it won't ring. But if it's already ringing and you go inside the radius of a jammer, it's not gonna stop, so you still have to do the animation then. Yeah. All in all, well, she is a good support operator with a good kit and a solid playstyle. If you really want to hang back and help the team get kills, Detroit's your girl. Call, annoy, get into the cams, smoke for the plant, and hold long lines of sight with the DMR. And unless you're memeing, don't take the boss, baby. And that's all you really need to know about Twice's new member, Dokkaebi. I hope you really liked the video. Like and subscribe if you did, and leave a comment down below on what operator you want me to do next. I'm going to go through all of the vanilla operators first. I only did Dokkaebi because she's my favorite. Anyway, see you later in the next video. Peace out.
Down to one friendly.